Hallo liebe Eichhörnchen-Freunde, hier zu The Stanley Parable Folge 2. Beim letzten Mal haben wir hier den Narrator nicht gefolgt, bin dann auch von dieser Plattform runtergesprungen und bin dann auch immer in die blaue Tür gegangen. Ich frage mich, was passiert, wenn man durch die rote Tür geht. Deswegen gehen wir mal den ganzen Weg von der letzten Folge nochmal entlang, würde ich sagen. Und dann mal schauen, was... Nö. Genau. Nö, auch nicht. Ich will zur roten Tür.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy.
Das hast du schon beim letzten Mal gesagt.
I realize
Wo
that
ist denn der
investing
überhaupt?
your trust in someone else can
Ich
be
höre den,
difficult, but the
aber
fact
sehe
is
ihn
that the
nicht.
story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Am besten ganz oben.
Really? I was in the middle of something.
Genau.
Do you have zero consideration for others?
Nö,
Are
ich
you
habe keine
that
Rücksicht
convinced
auf
that I want
andere.
something bad to happen
Definitiv
to
nicht.
you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a
Meine Seite.
chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Doch die rote. Beim letzten Mal habe ich nicht drauf gehört. Okay. Rot.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped.
Okay.
And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Eine Lösung. Es ist schwarz.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I
Ich
actually
nicht.
feel happy.
Er fühlt sich glücklich, ich aber nicht. Nö, ich gehe wieder. Ich gehe wieder.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please,
Okay.
no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please,
So,
Stanley.
dann-
No!
Runter hier. Aua.
Thank God you lived. You had me
Na komm.
worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Wow, das fliegt hier runter.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Okay, runterspringen kann man nicht. Schade. Dann hier hinten wieder runter.
Stanley, go back.
Wie kein Weg,
There's nothing
leider.
good that can come from this. No. No, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Nö, also... Ich find's langweilig, ganz ehrlich. Und runter.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Nö.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Also, was der Narrator will, ist mir komplett egal. Ich will einfach nur das Spiel spielen. Und runter.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. but I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Okay. Dann mal runter. Und, oh mein Gott.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Als ob ich da so bleibe.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy.
Ja, genau.
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh Gott, was kommt jetzt? Ich will's nicht wissen. Ah, okay. Nö, das war einfach nur ein mögliches Ende.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So, kann ich hier irgendwie rüber? Ich komme mal voll Löffel auf den Tisch. Aber weiter. Nee, doch. Und runter. Juhu.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Hast du diesen Witz satt? Nö. Ich find's lustig.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Ja, wie? Ich bleibe jetzt halt hier für immer. Kann ich irgendwie wieder zurück? Ich glaube, ich muss das jetzt manuell neu starten. Ja. So, ich will dann nochmal runter und herausfinden, was bei ja passiert wäre.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So, ich bin wieder
At
unten.
first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map,
Nö.
until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Ja, definitiv. Genau, was
Well,
auch
I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Musik. Ja.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function.
Ja,
Which is
das
why he is
ist
in
normal.
this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable.
Ja.
You too will become quite unbearable.
Ja. Jo. Okay. Geht's noch irgendwie weiter? Narrator? Hast du noch irgendwas zu singen, zu sagen? Oder geht's hier einfach nur so weiter? Ich glaube, da kommt nichts mehr. Nö. Na gut. Dann nochmal neu beginnen. Schade.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich dachte, es geht nach rechts. Naja, egal.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ich gehe rechts.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ich gehe mal.
The lounge was sublime, a
Kann ich
work
auch
of
hin?
art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nö, definitiv nicht.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Ja,
I'm not
haben wir
your
auch.
enemy, really, I'm not.
Oder? Jo,
I
doch,
realize that
irgendwie ja.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Wie für sie? Nee,
This is
ich habe keine
it,
Freundin.
Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Sie wartet, wer wartet auf mich?
That's
Nö.
her, Stanley. You
Nö,
need to be the
auf
one to
mich
do
wartet
this.
niemand.
Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? That wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
Okay, liest nach, okay.
It's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Ja, natürlich.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Ein Lehrvideo? Oh.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Übung.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay, da lang. Was ist da drin passiert? Okay, es ist hier auch alles eingegottert.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ich kann da runterspringen? Was will man machen? Okay, also ich soll das Spiel nochmal von neu starten, einfach zurückgehen.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
In der realen Welt, okay, weiß ich nicht.
All you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nö. Definitiv nicht, nein. Sehe ich nicht.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Okay, da geht's nicht weiter, schade. Dann mal schauen, was hier los ist.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
Nein,
I
das ist zu
have
angenehm.
to.
Nein, bitte nicht. Gruselig. Gänsehaut. Was ist hier los?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are.
Natürlich.
My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Ja, natürlich bin ich ein Kind.
My
Oder ich bin
story.
einfach nur Gamer.
If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so
Hat er
hard
jetzt
on
gespoilert?
it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Die Tür links. Nö. Definitiv nicht.
No!
Nein.
Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Oh, ups.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ich will es nochmal versuchen. Komisch.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Ja,
Behave
okay.
exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When
Da kommt
Stanley
wahrscheinlich
came to a
nichts
set
Neues.
of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Und links. Ich war schon links. Ja.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, tust du mir nicht gefeuert wird. Was ist das? Kann ich nicht so ganz übersetzen. Ja. Nee, das ist nix okay. So wie es hier steht. Naja. Jeder ist einzigartig. Das sehe ich genauso. Vor allem ich. Anscheinend. Okay, die Anzahl von Slides in diesem Slide, die Charts sind natürlich wichtig, also, okay. Ich glaube, das ist einfach nur eine Präsentation über Präsentationen. Nö. Ist zu.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Kann ich da auf die Toilette? Nö, schade. Oder ist es hier eine Toilette? Weiß ich nicht. Keine Ahnung. Ich muss mal.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Nightshark 115. Nö, funktioniert nicht. Narrator, das funktioniert nicht. Nightshark 115.
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Nightshark 115. Narrator, das funktioniert nicht. Ich kann nicht sprechen.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Funktioniert nicht.
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
Ja,
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ist die Stanley. Ist die Stanley. Oh,
Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
Wie the end.
Through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important.
Ich hab das Spiel kaputt gemacht.
The story needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose.
Oh ja, das war's mit dem Spiel. Schade.
Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me?
Ja, ich höre dich.
You listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait.
2013. Boah.
Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Ah, okay. Das war's. Schade. So, dann würde ich sagen, suchen wir in der nächsten Folge nach ein paar weiteren Enden von diesem Spiel. Ich wünsche euch was. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao.